Have you ever wondered who writes the stories that shape our perception of the world? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? Every day, we are inundated with tales, anecdotes, and narratives that subtly influence our understanding of the world and our place in it. These narratives form the backdrop of our lives, coloring our perspectives and tempering our actions. Now let's think about the concept of narratives. They are not just stories, but powerful tools that help us make sense of the complex world around us. They give structure to the chaos, tease out patterns from the noise, and help us navigate the turbulent seas of life. They are the lenses through which we view the world, and they can either illuminate or distort our perception of reality. Yet who gets to write these narratives? And more importantly, who gets to control them? These are questions that hold profound implications, for the pen that writes the narrative wields a power as potent as any sword. If this interests you, welcome to Africans Awake, where we seek to spread the need for a growth and transformative African worldview. Please subscribe and watch this video to the end for tips on how to cultivate and spread a positive African worldview. Let's turn our attention to Africa, a continent of over 1 billion souls, teeming with diversity and rich in history. Yet the narrative of Africa, as it is often told by Western media, is predominantly one of poverty, disease and conflict. This narrative, although based on elements of truth, is woefully incomplete. It's like trying to understand a symphony by listening to a single note, or trying to appreciate a painting by looking at a single brushstroke. Africa is more than the sum of its challenges. It is a vibrant, dynamic continent, bristling with potential and pulsating with life. It is a place of breathtaking natural beauty, of ancient cultures and modern cities, of innovation and creativity, of resilience and hope. Yet, these aspects of Africa are rarely highlighted in the mainstream narrative. But what if I told you there is more to Africa than the stories you've been told? What if we could challenge the prevailing narrative and present a more balanced, nuanced, and authentic portrayal of Africa? It's a thought worth pondering, isn't it? As we delve further into this topic, let's keep our minds open to the possibility of a different narrative. One that celebrates Africa's strengths, acknowledges its challenges, and champions its potential. Africa, a continent with 54 countries, thousands of languages, and millions of stories, remains unseen by many. Africa is a tapestry of diverse cultures, each thread representing a unique language, tradition, and history. It is a remarkable melting pot where each country contributes its distinct flavor to the rich African stew. From the Amazi of North Africa to the Zulu in the south, every culture is a vibrant testament to the continent's rich heritage. Woven into this tapestry are tales of ancient civilizations, the majestic pyramids of Egypt, the ruins of Carthage in Tunisia, the rock-hewn churches of Ethiopia, each a silent narrator of a glorious past. Africa's history is a grand epic of human civilization, filled with heroes, kingdoms, and legends that rival any Shakespearean drama. Yet, Africa isn't just about the past, it's also about the present and the future. The continent buzzes with vibrant cities where traditional markets coexist with towering skyscrapers. Lagos, Johannesburg, Nairobi. These are hubs of innovation and technology where young Africans are rewriting the script, designing a future that is bold and bright. And let's not forget the breathtaking landscapes that adorn the continent. The thundering Victoria Falls, the serene Okavango Delta, the majestic Mount Kilimanjaro. Each is a natural masterpiece that leaves one awestruck. Africa's landscapes are a symphony of nature's finest, a testament to the planet's raw and unfiltered beauty. But despite its richness and diversity, much of Africa remains unseen and unheard. The stories that dominate are often those of conflict and poverty, casting a shadow on the continent's many wonders. The narrative, unfortunately, remains one-dimensional, incomplete. Yet, beneath this shadow, there exists a wealth of stories waiting to be told, stories that paint a fuller, more nuanced picture of Africa. Stories of resilience, innovation, and unity. Stories of a continent that is much more than what it is often made out to be. Stories that are waiting for the world to listen, to understand and to appreciate. There exists a wealth of stories waiting to be told, stories that paint a fuller, more nuanced picture of Africa. Stories hold power, the power to shape perceptions, to influence decisions, to inspire change. In the grand tapestry of human history, stories have always played a pivotal role. They are the threads that weave together our understanding of the world, and they hold the power to shape our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. They can teach us about cultures and experiences that differ from our own, expanding our horizons and challenging our assumptions. Imagine a world where everyone's story is heard and acknowledged, a world where narratives are as diverse as the people telling them. This is the world we should strive to create. However, often we find ourselves trapped in a single-sided narrative, a story that has been told from one perspective over and over again until it becomes the only story we know. Such narratives can be harmful. They can lead to stereotypes, misconceptions, and a lack of understanding. When we only hear one side of the story, we're left with a skewed perception of reality. This is especially true when it comes to Africa, a continent often reduced to a single narrative of poverty, conflict and despair. But Africa is so much more than that. It is a continent of 54 countries, home to over 1 billion people, each with their own unique stories to tell. Stories of resilience, innovation and vibrant cultures. Stories of individuals striving to build a better future. Stories that challenge and break away from the single-sided narrative. Storytelling is a powerful tool in promoting understanding and empathy. By sharing diverse narratives, we can challenge stereotypes and foster a greater appreciation for the richness and diversity of the African continent. We can create a more accurate and nuanced understanding of the world around us. So, let's challenge the narrative. Let's strive to amplify the voices that often go unheard. Let's work together to create a world where every story is valued, where every narrative is acknowledged. The narrative of Africa needs to be as diverse as the continent itself. It's time to challenge the narrative. It's time to tell a different story about Africa. We all have a role to play in this transformation. We all have the power to shift perspectives, to offer a fuller, more nuanced view of Africa. And the first step is to actively seek out and share diverse stories about this remarkable continent. Imagine if we all made a conscious effort to explore the wealth of African literature available to us. The novels of Chinua Achebe, the poetry of Warsan Shire, the plays of Wole Soyinka. These stories, rich in culture and complexity, can help us understand and appreciate Africa in all its diversity and dynamism. Consider the potential of documentaries and movies to challenge stereotypes and reshape perceptions. Films like Queen of Katwe and Black Panther have already started to do this, presenting African narratives that are powerful, positive and profoundly human. But we needn't limit ourselves to traditional media. In this digital age, social media platforms and blogs offer unprecedented opportunities to spread a better narrative about Africa. We can share the works of African artists, celebrate the achievements of African scientists, and highlight the initiatives of African entrepreneurs. Yet the power of storytelling isn't just about sharing, it's also about listening. We must be willing to listen to the voices of Africa, to truly hear their stories and understand their experiences. To do this, we must engage with African news outlets, follow African influencers, and read African publications. It's about making space for these stories in our lives, about recognizing and respecting the diversity of African experiences. It's about understanding that Africa is not a monolith, but a mosaic of cultures, languages, and perspectives. This is not just a challenge, it's an invitation. An invitation to explore, to learn, to grow, to become more informed, more empathetic, more global citizens. Change starts with us. It starts with the stories we choose to tell and the stories we choose to listen to. So who writes your story? Who tells you how to perceive the world? In the spheres of our lives, we are constantly influenced by narratives, by stories that shape our understanding and perception. These stories have power. The power to shape identities, to influence actions, and to mold the world's view of entire continents like Africa. Yet when we look at Africa, what stories are we told? Are we shown a diverse and multifaceted continent, teeming with vibrant cultures, innovative minds, breathtaking landscapes, and resilient communities? Or are we presented with a single narrative, a narrative that fails to capture the full spectrum of Africa's reality? In this age of information, we have the power to challenge the single narrative. We have the power to share stories that illuminate the diversity, the complexity, and the beauty of Africa. Stories that show the continent as it truly is, not as it is often portrayed. Imagine if each of us took up the responsibility to share just one positive, inspiring, and diverse story about Africa. Think of the ripple effect that could have. The world's perception of Africa could be reshaped, one story at a time. What's more, these stories could inspire change within the continent itself. They could ignite hope, fuel ambition, and encourage innovation. They could foster a sense of pride and unity among Africans, reminding them of their potential, their strength, and their place in the world. So I urge you, take up this challenge. Share a story about Africa that defies the single narrative. Use your platform, however small or large, to spread a better narrative about Africa. You don't need to be a professional writer or a seasoned storyteller. You just need to be willing to share a story, your story, a story that might just change a perception, inspire a dream, or challenge a stereotype. Remember, every story you share, every narrative you challenge, contributes to painting a fuller, more nuanced picture of Africa. It's time to spread a better narrative about Africa.